Welcome to Volume 3 of Production Instruction with 3ds Max 2010. I'm i3D Jack, and if you're following up from Volumes 1 and 2, then you're familiar already with the type of project we're dealing with. Basically, this tutorial is going to focus on modeling, just as the previous volumes. However, we're going to focus now on high-res modeling using SubDs. If you've used SubDs before in other 3D packages like Maya, Softimage, or Modo, or anything else, 3ds Max has its own implementation of SubD, subdivision surfaces modeling, and it's not much different from other 3D packages. There are some nuances and some specific details and workflows for SubDs in 3ds Max that are unique to the 3ds Max modeling environment. So we're going to see how to go ahead and do that and use SubDs in 3ds Max with some modifiers and tool sets to pretty much get some complex work done as quickly and as easily as possible. Okay, so first things first, here we have a blank scene. This tutorial comes with the project directory that's going to contain some asset files that you're going to need to be able to follow along with me and complete the project if you're looking at following the project with the instructor, with myself. So we'll come up here to the project folder icon, and make sure you look for a folder. It's going to be called Pro in 3ds Max 2010 Volume 3. So if you're following from the previous volumes, the Volume 1 had this project directory, which was Pro in 3ds Max 2010 Volume 1, then Volume 2. Volume 3 is the same thing, only it says Volume 3 at the end. Okay, so once you load up that project, you'll be able to go ahead and open up the same scene files that I'm working with and be able to follow along much better than if you didn't have the project directory. So that's been included for you with this training product. Okay, so now let me show you what it is that we're going to be working on. Editor, this will not be part of the video. Make sure you edit this stuff out. Just going to show some stuff here real quick. Let's view another image file. Light fixtures. Which is the lamp that we did? I think it was this one. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just show a couple of images. Alright, so starting again in 3, 2, 1. So this is basically what you should end up with after following along with this training product. We're going to be adding more details to our scene. If you remember, this is the scene from Volume 1 that was worked on some more in Volume 2 with polygon modeling. In Volume 3, we're going to focus on more complex modeling. Things like these drapes, these curtains back here in the background, window shades, these organically shaped lamps over here that are high res and they're round and they have all these interesting shapes and details to them. Also, this furniture, you can see how we have cushions here that are pretty detailed. They have folds in them and different types of features that you would expect from an actual real life cushion on a piece of furniture like that. We're going to be creating a rug with some wrinkles and details and stuff. We're going to be creating a lot of things here with using SubDs. SubDs are very powerful, and you can see we can create some pretty intricate and complex objects like this ceiling light that hangs on top of our dining room area over here. So when our 3D people are eating, having dinner, they can actually see what they're eating. So we're going to be creating some pretty complex stuff. It's going to take a while to do. It's going to be very involved and take a lot of work. And you're going to pick up and learn some pretty good techniques, pretty solid techniques for modeling, as well as overcoming some obstacles and challenges that are pretty common and pop up when you're doing something complicated. And if you have a lot of questions about SubDs or modeling complex things in general, editor, edit out of the video. There was an airplane in the background. Starting again in 3, 2, 1. So if you ever had some major questions about, how do I approach a complex piece of geometry that has a lot of curvature and details to it, we're going to see how to do stuff like that, how to model in seams to say this furniture to make the fabric look like fabric, how to go ahead and create wrinkles and things like for these drapes back here in the windows, stuff like that. So if you've ever wanted to know how to model that kind of stuff, well, you're in for a treat, because that's specifically what we're going to be focusing on in this entire volume, in volume 3 of Production Instruction 3ds Max 2010. Okay. Last but not least, you also want to make sure you collect lots of reference images off the internet. Okay. A good 3D modeler knows how to go ahead and do a search. Google is your best friend if you're a 3D artist. Google is a great resource. Of course, you don't just have to use Google, but it's probably one of the best search engines out there. That's a fact. So you might want to use it to your advantage to do a search for images. So if you're modeling, say, sofa, you might want to do a search for images on Google. You might want to do a Google image search on sofas or lamps or rugs or curtains, windows drapes, things like that. Okay, so make sure you collect lots of reference. I've collected some reference here that I'm going to be using. You don't have to model exactly based on what I'm modeling. You can use the techniques that I teach you in this volume and adapt that to pretty much anything you want. So I'm going to show you how to do this sofa here, but you can use the techniques that I teach you to pretty much model any sofa. Okay, so the techniques can be used to model all kinds of things. So when you're done with this, you should be able to go off on your own and create some complex high-res objects using SubDs and 3ds Max to do your own projects. Okay, so that's going to do it for this overview, just to give you an idea of what we're going to be working on, what we're going to be doing. And in the next video, we're going to go ahead and get started with SubDs. We're going to start up with SubDs and learn what they are, how they work, and what the tool sets and features are in 3ds Max that allow us to work with SubDs.